Rise up Atlanta, rise up world. Your boys are back, the Scottish Falcons. Episode number 19 now. We're almost hitting that magic 20 days, and it's been a pleasure to do it with you, my brother. How are you feeling tonight before we get started? I know you've got football on in the background.
No, I've got a big TV at the top, but it keeps on flashing on the back wall. So, I'm looking forward to my last week of sanity, mate. That's what I'm looking forward to. Because in just over a week's time, 53 men and a coaching staff are effectively going to take my mental health to the bottom of the ocean, mate. To be honest, so I'm looking forward to my last week of sanity because, as I say, this it always tends to be a car crash when it gets started with the Falcons. So we're 8 days away, 7 days away, 8.
Well, I was just saying, KP8. We are 8 days away now for the season, and college football's already in full swing. Commiserations. I was going to get on here and do a shout out, but as I say, down in the panel, I know we'll get to obviously yourself because I do have a question concerning college football for you. But win, lose or draw, I do always have to shout out the perks of being the producer. So I know there's a lot of Georgia Bulldogs down in the chat, so you're just going to have to eat it. Hook 'em horns now and always. I know there's a lot of teams that you're interested in, but who are you mainly focusing on college football wise this year, Des?
Well, the issue I've got is that when I started watching college football, it was only maybe say 3 or 4 years ago, when I really got into it. And at that point, Georgia were dominant, so they were one of the best teams. And I just felt that it was. I just didn't think it was right to start supporting Georgia at the time when they were dominant, as if it was a glory hunter kind of thing. I mean, I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan. I mean, I ain't a glory hunter. I mean, so effectively, I kind of sit back and I just watch college football and enjoy it. What I would say is that if Arch Manning is going number 1 overall, well, the Aints have got They've got a cracking player, you know what I mean? Seemingly, the rumor I've heard, maybe it's untrue, that Peyton Manning's already put out a tweet saying that Arch Manning was adopted. So, so after the way he played against
Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State. Yeah, so
that's the thing. A Manning in name only.
And then I seen another one on X, and it was if Arch Manning wasn't a Manning, and it's him in the Best Buy T-shirt. You know what I mean? So, but it was a close one. But if we're talking about this, I got to say I don't think. Arch Manning is going to go in next year's draft. I think he's going to do 2 years at college.
Yeah, I would definitely agree, and I think that would be the wise decision. Before we introduce the special guest who'll be joining us tonight and throughout the season going forward, just a shout out to some of the family in the chat. So Southside Ricky, one of the frequent flyers in the back, always showing love. What's going on, everyone? Falcons Nation over everybody. You already know, sir. You already know. Ali Cat, a new name in the chat, so we're happy to see you. Thanks for joining the Kilted Revolution. We are happy to entertain you on this Saturday evening. And Southside saying his college team is the University of Miami. Oh, nice. They had some really good teams back in the 2000s. You know, it makes me kind of think back to the days of Warren Sapp and Dwayne The Rock Johnson and things like that. So, and of course Ed Reed. So yeah, shout out to Miami. They're a good team in the Hurricanes. And now, as I say, shouting out to the AFN International family. We got LaMarcus, Georgia Texas boy in the house, our stadium and game correspondent. How are you, sir?
Doing well, fellas. How you guys doing today?
Yeah, we're doing good. Thank you for joining us at last. We finally got our clock sorted out because silly producer Will, he was like, "We're so happy to have you," and we assumed because Georgia, Texas boy, we went, "Oh, he'll be on Eastern time. It's 3:30 and 8:30 our time, and he comes on at 8:30 Arizona time, which he now knows is just after midday." So now that we've meshed, it's good to have you.
Right on, right on.
Absolutely, mate.
Good time talking Falcons football.
And
yeah,
so
absolutely.
How did you get into the Falcons?
What's that?
How did you get into support the Falcons?
So I have actually been a fan for over 27 years. Many people don't know this, but when Michael Vick first got drafted to the Atlanta Falcons, I worked at the Georgia Dome as one of those guys who wore the yellow and black CSC jackets. But it sucks because remember, when you see those guys, their backs are to the game. They're not actually watching the game. They're watching the crowd to make sure nobody's getting out of order. And so I'm like, man, this sucks. That's because I didn't get a chance to see the first couple of games. And I rotated my way into the children's area. And they had the big screen up where the parents could see the games while they're watching their kids, which is kind of ironic. The parents watching the game instead of their kids. But I got a chance to work there, and that was back in 2019, and I've been a fan ever since.
That's awesome. An awesome story, and that's what we love, is to be able to kind of share the stories of how we became fans across the Atlantic, so to speak. We do apologise. There's a bit of an echo issue. I think it might be your side, Lamarcus. Just double check your audio. But in the meantime, as I say, we did do this when you were down in the chat, but we've not been able to do it when you're in the building. So we'd like to present you with your AFN International membership logo. I know it was pre-approved, but yeah, it's time to unveil it to the people. And as I say, he will be our game correspondent because, like Auntie Pam, the man likes to travel and he likes to put in some miles. So we're thrilled to have you as part of the team, man. And as I say, as often as you can get on, please do. We're thrilled to have you.
Okay. My bad, gentlemen. I just remembered my recollection of the time. I said 2019. That would be impossible because it's now 2025. 1999 was the year.
1999. Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. That means
Yeah. And I think Lamarcus was partying like it was 1999.
Yeah, very excited to be here, gentlemen.
Brilliant. Great to have
We're
you.
glad to have you. And as I say, we've got a lot to get through as well tonight. So, but let's just fly into it with the breaking news. So, head coach Morris was talking at his latest presser a lot about, as I say, and as we all know, one of the biggest issues going into the week one game, which is who do we start at right tackle in place of the injured Caleb McGarry. Now, essentially, I want to give you guys 5 different options, and I have the photos to back them up. And I'm going to give them to you in the order that I would feel most confident, and that would be Elijah Wilkinson at number 1, followed by getting Brandon Parker up from the practice squad, because I do not trust Jack Nelson, and at this time, as I say, the new trade piece, Michael Jarrell, is an unproven commodity for me. So I don't want to start him against a rival. And then, of course, as I say, we could always move Matt Bergeron and then bring in Kyle Hinton to play backup guard. But essentially, as I say, we're playing a strong interior D line. So we'll start with the new blood. So Lamarcus, if you had your say, if you were Coach Raheem, who would be your starting right tackle against Tampa Bay?
You know, I got to be honest with you. We've seen occasions when actually Elijah Wilkinson had gone into the game and did really, really well. I can't see them picking someone like a rookie who does not have the experience and the number of reps that Elijah has had in successive series. I can't really see them going with anybody other than Elijah Wilkinson. He seems to be the standout. Now, obviously, there are some other players, because let's just say, what happens if Elijah Wilkinson, something happens to him, because we know in the league that's certainly possible. then I would look at maybe Parker coming up from the practice squad. But I would definitely go with Wilkinson being the starter at that right tackle.
Yeah, I would agree with you there, sir. And how do you feel, Des? Who would be your starting right tackle if the choice was yours, sir?
Yeah, definitely Elijah Wilkinson. He's got reps with the first team. We see that. So, he was. I mean, he's an okay backup. I'm hoping that again. I'll keep on saying this, and I'll say it to hoarse. These players should have been playing in the preseason with the first team, as in with the O-line, effectively take one of the main O-lines out and put in the backup and see how they work. I'm hoping that if you take Caleb McGarry out and put Elijah Wilkinson in, because they've got the other starting O-line, that it's going to be solid. But you don't.
And I would say that that's one of the benefits to having the 4 games, is it gives you that little bit more time to experiment a little bit with some of the backups in position with the starters. And again, the Saturday scrimmage, I said it was dead, and it seems to be making a comeback. The team is growing, so thank you also Cam, 10 Camo 1, the big chief of AFNI for coming in. So before we get into any big talk, how are you, brother?
Pretty good. Just got off work, but yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and answer that question you were just on about Elijah.
Please
Wilkinson.
do, yeah.
I mean, I'd be comfortable. Not comfortable. I wouldn't use that word, but most comfortable with him at right tackle, just because it's the next man up. He's the next one on the roster chart, and you play him until the wheels fall off, until you got to move on to the next guy or figure out something different. So.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And as I say, Elijah Wilkinson's proved that he has a serviceable backup. I would remind you guys, just double check your audio, because we do have a wee bit of feedback.
Yeah, I think the feedback's coming from Lamarcus.
Yep. So just double check that your side, brother. But as I say, when you're talking about O-line, it's a bit of an interesting one for me, because as I say, your natural thought would be Bergeron's a natural tackle, but again, it's not the choice you want to make, because we're facing Cansey and Vea in week 1. So yeah, that is what that is.
That'd be 2 years worth of reps gone to waste. Him at his position right now. We're not trying to restart his process.
I would definitely agree with that. I mean, he seems to have definitely fit into that left guard role now. And I mean, for all credit to Ryan Nuzzo as well, it seems like that offensive interior is pretty solidified now. So I don't want to be messing with that chemistry, because I mean, we came into the season talking about how we had a top 5 unit, and yes, we've lost McGarry, but forgive Pixie for jumping in on. I'm not even allowed to work in this house, you see. But that's the beauties of being a dog dad. But we keep on grinding. Where was I? Yeah, offensive line. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. Elijah Wilkinson is the guy for me as well. And Bergeron definitely a perennial Pro Bowler at left guard. And you were going to say, Des?
Yeah, I think the biggest worry I've got is the run game. How it's going to affect our run game. With Caleb McGarry coming out, that worries me. But what I would say is Wilkinson did get a lot of reps during pre-season. So effectively, unless they knew this was going to happen, I don't think so. But I think they did play Elijah Wilkinson quite a bit. So he has had some recent reps at that position. So. But like Falcons, some bad's always going to happen, mate.
You know what? We all know it by now. And I'm going, before I shout out to the rest of the guys, I'm going to shout out the chat here, because it's a new name to me, Seed Up, and he suggests Jarrell or Wilkerson at right tackle until Storm comes back week 6 after the bye. I would definitely suggest that, although my experience of Michael Jarrell is limited. And I know yours does too, Des. So Cam, I'll start with you, and then we'll come to you, LaMarcus. Do you know much about him? Have you seen much of his work coming across from Seattle?
I didn't even go to watch his tape. Yeah, like I didn't really think I would get enough, anyways, out of it. You know, he's a depth guy for them. That got cut. There's probably not too much there.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Although I feel like it's understated the fact that in 250 snaps faced, they only allowed three sacks. So that was quite respectable for someone who would be deemed a backup, essentially. So I felt like that was the one stat that, as I say, I shared on the last.
Is that his college stat? Or
No, that's in the pros.
Okay.
Yeah, he was drafted in 2024. He's had 10 games, 3 starts, including against us. So he faced Grady Jarrett all night long, 250 total snaps, 39% of the offensive unit's total snaps for that span of play. And he only allowed 3 sacks, so that's quite a stat in and of itself. So I say maybe we give the guy a shake.
Right.
It's always good to have Wilkerson obviously in the back as well. And how do you feel about that, LaMarcus? Do you know much about Michael Jarrell coming in?
I don't actually. Was he the gentleman that came over from Seattle?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I got to be honest with you. Seattle has pretty much been known for having a really good, solid defense. And I'm not saying that he's going to automatically assume that role as a solid defense for our team, but you just look at kind of what history has shown us from the Seahawks and their defense. They have pretty good defense. So if he were to be the backup, I see him doing a really good job. But, you know, it is, again, that next man up mentality.
Right.
So
he's going to have to wait for his turn. Yeah. Wilkerson will let us know pretty soon, too. Like it'll be pretty apparent.
Yeah. And coming across from a team like Seattle, as you say, LaMarcus, where they do play a high and consistent level of defense, he's going to be it's going to be no shock to the system when he comes into the level of D that we're bringing in Atlanta, you know, so it's going to be a better transition for him. So I'm happy to have him, especially obviously with Caleb down. So yeah, and moving on to another piece of breaking news that we've just seen, speaking about the defensive front, is that Braylon Trice, one of our edge defenders, he's been placed back onto IR again. So there's a little bit to unpack there. So first off, I'll give the man his flowers. But yeah, as I say, number 48 off the edge is now been, as I say, the latest roster move. He's been put on IR, will likely miss the season or a big chunk of, at least until the bye week again. So my question to you guys, and I'll go around the panel, starting with you, Des. How will this another injury derail what would be his prognosis is apparently after the bye week. So I'm asking about his future in Atlanta. Do you trust the man again now after another injury spell? Yeah,
well, you know what they say, the best ability is availability. We've said this about Troy Anderson. If they're not able to get on the park because of injuries, then that's a big issue. I mean, we've effectively not seen Braylon Trice. I mean, he came out of Washington. Am I right? Yeah, he came out from.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So again, really, really promising player. You looked at his college tape; it looked phenomenal. But again, he's effectively had no play last year, and that's him. He's on IR again this year. So there's only so. I mean, effectively, there's going to be we've seen some of the players like CJ Henderson, who we brought in. I mean, effectively, because of injury, CJ Henderson's where he is now. And it looks as if Braylon Trice is going to be one of the kind of players where Atlanta's going to let him go, and he's just going to be effectively plotting around the NFL until he finds he's the right place. But if he's out again for another season, then I mean that's effectively 2 seasons in the NFL, and he's been injured in both seasons. I mean that's not good from an optics point of view. If you're a coach, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Sadly, it is one of these things where it kind of reminds you of some of the real hard facts that we have to face as panelists, where as sportcasters, when you look into these things, the average NFL career is 3.5 seasons. and there's reasons why, the physicality, the demands on the body. But yeah, it looks like Braylon Trice is. I don't want to completely rule him out because, as I say, he can bounce back, but he may. I don't want him to be another cautionary tale. So I want him to take his time, and if it does take him another season and he comes back next year, I'm willing to say third time's the charm. But after that, I really need to start questioning. You know what I'm saying? And how do you feel about that, Cal?
Well, Des brought up a good example is Troy Anderson. You know, we already got him on the team and dealing with injuries for the past, few years. And yeah, no, it's just we can't have two guys on the team that are going to be having these problems. Like,
yeah,
I was kind of wondering if we were going to even cut Troy just because, I don't know, just to get anyone else in there that's going to actually see the field.
Yeah. As I say, it's not a narrative that I believe, but to the naysayers who want to question the money that they're paying Kirk Cousins, if you're paying two injured guys, then that's just more dead money and more reason for them to go on and on. You know what I'm saying? So, and the naysayers like to chat. And as I say, just a little bit of audio. LaMarcus has jumped out, but he's back in with us now, so we'll see if that's any better.
Yeah.
Good to have you back with us, LaMarcus. As I say, if you are talking, just mute the mic, but we're coming to you now anyway on this. So how do you feel about the Braylon Trice situation? As I say, you don't want to eat more dead money with another long-term injury, but if he feels like he can get back sort of around about the bye week or just after, how do you feel in terms of trust levels? Do you think he can come back from this? Can you hear me okay?
Oh, you got him on mute now.
Are you on mute?
Yeah, it's still muted. Yeah.
Yeah. We can't hear you. You're on mute.
So,
and you're back.
Thank you, fellas.
Right.
I appreciate it. I'm
No
a very
problem.
optimistic guy. But there are some things that when they happen, you just have to kind of look at them as how often that they've happened and the amount of time that they allow you to misplay during a season. So he showed flashes of greatness last year before the injury. And now he comes back and he gets injured again. And I just, I would love to see the guy show his value and his talent playing for us. But at some point, we've just got to be able to cut the losses because you got to take all those things into consideration. This is going to be year 3. Is he going to be back to where he could possibly be with that injury still lingering behind after 2 years? So it's a pass for me, guys.
Yeah. I mean, even if he does stay healthy for 2 years, it might come back in his 5th year when we sign him, or something like that. We just signed Caleb McGarry, then he gets injured. It's not like he's been super injury prone. He's had a few bits where
I think the other thing as well is the fact that the age group is so deep just now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If this is 2 years ago, you're desperate to get Braylon Trice back from injury because the age group wasn't very good. But when you look how deep the age group is just now, effectively he would need to hopefully get back after maybe the 4 weeks on injured reserve, and effectively have an absolutely unbelievable rest of the season for Atlanta to keep him next year.
I just don't see it long term, really that much of a benefit.
I mean, what is it leg injury or is it a knee injury?
It's the same knee. It's the same knee.
Yeah.
So effectively, when you're looking at the worst part of a body you can have an injury as an age player, it's the knees. You know what I mean? Effectively, that's where all the power comes from.
Yeah.
So obviously, something isn't right down in his knee. He's obviously, I think he had surgery last year. They're talking about the possibility. Again, Raheem Morris was asked about will he be back after the coming off injured reserve, and they're saying that they're looking at it just now, and it's a possibility he might get surgery again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, that's.
I don't think again that's necessarily a horror story. I feel like it kind of boils back to what I was saying a couple of minutes back, is just kind of like, if you need to get it fit, in the same way McGarry, when you talk about it stemming back to a high school issue, if you need to get it fixed, because we've showed up now to where we should be okay without you. We would prefer to have you, but obviously we can make it work. And as you say, LaMarcus earlier, it just stems down to that next man up mentality as well. And speaking of which, one of the things that was my biggest doubt, and it's a nice point to segue, was the depth. Talking about safety. Now I know we have a lot of good defensive backs, but they're mainly in corner and nickel roles as well. We only have 3 true safeties, but the other breaking news is that he didn't clear the practice squad, but he's been signed straight to the 53 man. We have reclaimed safety Jordan Fuller. So yeah, as I say, that would bring the safety number up to 4. Obviously, with Trice inactive, that would then make this man your 53rd man. So we'd like to kind of say welcome back, Jordan. We did see some flashes of good play, enough to kind of where you were in the mix. We weren't sure if you were going to be a practice squad guy, but as I say, it's always good to have depth at defensive back as well. As you say earlier, Des, we're deep enough at edge that this is a good move. Surely, don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that these players have got going for them is the fact that they've got Jesse Bates III sitting there.
Yes.
I mean, this guy, if this guy isn't one of the captains, I'll literally eat my heart. This man, he will make these players better. You seen the clip of him talking to Kobe Bryant? You know what I mean? He's encouraging them. He wants them to get better. This guy wants a ring. He came to Atlanta. Yeah, obviously it was a great contract, but this guy wants a ring, and you know that he's in there and in and around the other players, driving them on every minute of every day. And that's a benefit for us. From my point of view, I think the safety, the depth and safety is probably the best I can remember, to be honest. You know what I mean? So, and to be honest, bringing Jordan Fuller back, I think I keep on hearing that some of the guys, the press in Atlanta, talking roster shenanigans. So effectively, he couldn't get picked up by another team, so for whatever reason, so effectively they were taking him off so that they could get players on, to get them onto injury reserve, to then bring him back. So
right,
again, it's a standard thing that seemingly happens in the NFL. So
right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, by any hook or by any crook, by any technicality, I for one, I'm glad he's back. And as I say, it is a deep class, and should one of them go down, I'm pretty sure that Kobe's fairly flexible and can be elevated from the practice squad as well. And we also have Ronnie Harrison down there as well. So I mean, it's a deep class, as you say, Des. And when you're talking about, as I say, Jordan Fuller, what's your opinions on him being back in the squad, LaMarcus? And then we'll come to you, Cam. How are you feeling, LaMarcus?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. Sounded good.
I think, gentlemen, that the question, or I missed the last part of that. Can you run it by me again?
Yeah, not a problem. So
I'm
basically we're talking about Jordan Fuller, and he's re-adding to the 53-man squad. And we're just saying that in terms of safety depth, it's a really deep class that we've got in terms of defensive back help this year, but that we only have 3 true safeties. This would make 4. So it's a very good roster move, and we're asking if you would agree with that.
I think that's a good move. And I think being able to rotate, I think being able to have the rotation available where you can see all of them play the role really well is going to work for us. It's going to work in our favor. And having an extra piece with Phillips is going to add to just the depth that we have for the number of players. So I think it's a good move altogether. Yeah,
and as you say, and as we've been saying in past episodes, we can't understate the importance of special teams either. And the guy knows how to deliver a hit, so he's a good asset to have, even in the kick and punt return and kickoff and punt game. And how do you feel about him, Cam? What's your thoughts on Jordan Fuller being back on the 53?
Yeah, I'm all right with it. It's not like it bothers me anyway, but like I would probably want like that 53rd spot used in another position group, but it's not like they really haven't tried that with going and getting those two offensive tackle linemen. One of them I think was a guard. But
well, that's an interesting point. Though. Now that you say it, Cam, when you say that you would use the 53rd spot, what would you use it on, and rather than a safety?
I mean, it would be line right now, but we already did get two guys. We got to see how that shakes out, even with Elijah Wilkinson. But other than that, I would say maybe like another linebacker or maybe a wide receiver. But yeah,
okay. Linebacker's an interesting call because I feel like our linebacker room is just at that level where we're good at linebacker, but we're not elite.
I don't know who's out there. Yeah, I don't even know if it's like there's actually anything out there to pick right now. You got to see what you got before you start doing those trades or picking up guys before the trade deadline mid-season. So, yeah,
no, 100%. And as I say, we're going to take a special wee aside here because in confidence he said that he's just getting to grips with it, and we know it's your debut on the show in any real capacity, LaMarcus. So what I'd ask you to do, if you're watching down in the chat, or if you do get back to us at a later time, because I know college football's on, so you may miss the show, but when you do get to us, drop some red and black and support these guys, because as I say, it's been a labour of love for me and Des to get this thing on wings, so to speak. And as I say, we are thrilled that you're just coming on to talk Falcons with us and to take the international brand worldwide. So we're going to have technical issues, as you say. I'm still dropping off sometimes, as much to Desi's amusement or beaming.
Yeah, that's what comes to mind when you drop off and I'm sitting here. And I'm actually going, right, okay, here we go. I've got people watching, so...
Yeah, I use the term amusement incredibly lightly, but no, it happens for us all, man. So yeah, as I say, we're all finding our feet, but as I say, it's more important that you're here with us. That's all we wanted, because as I say, you could be somewhere else and watching college football, and you're here talking birds with us. So we appreciate it. And yeah, some interesting news that's not injury related, which feels like the first time in a while. But a couple of interesting tidbits of news. First off, the Sports Illustrated magazine, who we all know and some of us love and some of us not so much. They've struck a 6-year deal now with our Falcons. So what it's essentially going to do is going to bring immersive fan experiences to the game day experience. It's also going to put in place exclusive ticket packages and more that you can take advantage of at the Bends. So keep an eye open for that. There's also going to be the brand new Sports Illustrated Tickets Lounge as well. So if you do happen to get the perks of that ticket, then by all means have an extra one for your boys. So yeah, but an interesting thing. And as I say, the Falcons, the city of Atlanta, a well-represented brand when it comes to sport. But this is just one more thing, Des, wouldn't you agree, that just says, along with the Olympics, along with all the good things that are happening, the NHL getting a franchise, it really is a sport. It's not just a black mecca, it's also a sports mecca. Let's keep it 100.
I mean, probably the most special moment when I went to Atlanta in 2008 was walking through Olympic Park. Mm-hmm. And you see where the torch was, and I mean it was special to actually be standing there, knowing that the Olympics had been there. What I would say is, when you look at everything that's happening with the World Cup coming to Atlanta as well, I mean, Atlanta is a sport mecca, as you say. You've got the soccer there, NHL is coming as well. Let's hope that's all kind of worked around the fact that the Falcons can then effectively go and win the Super Bowl. That would be fantastic.
It really would be. It would
I mean,
be.
how good would it be if you were parading the Super Bowl trophy around all these games? You know what I mean? Like there's the Super Bowl trophy that Atlanta Falcons won this year, and you know what I mean it just writes its own story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and my fiance was saying in the back, she said to me, maybe you will win this year. Maybe it's written because it's the 60th Super Bowl. It's the 60th birthday of the Falcons, and of course it's the first year now in the international expansion for Atlanta Falcons Nation. So if we're ever going to get it done, and if there's anyone from the team paying attention, if you do pay attention to signs and portents, then maybe that's one to look out for. So,
well, what I have always said is that the fans of Atlanta Falcons deserve a Super Bowl win because we have been through the ringer. We have had atrocious luck. Pain, as we say, pain is international because we always say that at the end of the show because we feel the pain and we felt the pain of everything in the last 10, 12, 15 years. At some point, we need to wipe that pain out. At some point, this Atlanta Falcons team, with Michael Penix at the helm, needs to start showing that they can compete. They can win first and foremost the NFC South, and then you know yourself. Once you get into the playoffs, you watched it with the Commanders last year. Once you're in the playoffs, who knows what could happen? You know what I mean?
0-0 every week until you win a Lombardi. That's it.
But again, I'll go back to the stadium experience and tell all the fans, I don't care how good the nachos and the burgers and how much you can spend for $20 at the stadium. Yeah. Get your arse in the seat when kickoff starts.
Yes.
So that we're not looking at half of the seats all empty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's really support this team. You know
what
I mean?
And as I say, Des has been saying this since episode number 1. So I know I'm sick of hearing him say it. So if you want to shut him up, please do what the man says. We're begging you. And Cam, you're a diehard as well, so you know. And LaMarcus will tell you as well. He's all over the country to pay respect to the Birds. So you're there until the clock reads 0-0-0.
Yeah, but
show some support.
Yeah, let's show.
One time I got out of my seat was to get another beer because it was the Desmond Ridder versus the Texans. When I went to that one was a crazy game, but it worked out somehow in the end. Honestly, I had no right beating the Texans in hindsight with CJ Stroud that year. But. Well,
when Desmond Ridder's your quarterback, that will drive you to drink, so we'll let you away with a beer break. A beer break for that one.
Yeah, all I would say is that never ever trust a Desmond. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I'm in for a long haul then, aren't I?
That's my Sunday name. Well, that's my Sunday name.
You heard it here first. We are all dirty birds, but now you've heard of Dirty Dom. We've got Dirty Des now, so or Dirty Den if you're an EastEnders fan. I know you don't get that in the States, but
one thing I would say is
over my head.
At some point, we need to start showing that the Mercedes-Benz Stadium can be as good as Georgia Dome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've heard and seen on Twitter Atlanta Falcons fans. I mean, bear in mind that 2017 was the first year we were in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And there's still fans talking about how good the Georgia Dome is. Because I'll tell you, when you're looking at when you're watching from old games in the Georgia Dome, the seats ain't empty. There's no empty seats there. And you look at the NFC Championship game against the Green Bay Packers. You know what I mean? The place was rocking. That probably
what a game to close your doors on.
That was probably one of my most proud moments as an Atlanta Falcons fan, watching the way that stadium was and the fact that Atlanta just came together. For the team. You know what I mean?
Truly was a beautiful moment, and that's why I've re-added brotherhood to my hashtags, because it's so important to the ethos of this channel. I says to Maggie when we started this thing out, communication, brotherhood, and just fandom has got to be central to anything, or there is no point. And as I say, this was one I was going to ask you, Lamarcus. As you've been a fan for so long, did you get to experience the Dome? And if so, how does it compare to the Benz? And which do you prefer if you could make a choice?
Honestly, having to see games in both of them, I have to say, with the way that the team played when they were in the Georgia Dome, when we were moving towards going to the playoffs and making the Super Bowl, the vibe was just so much more exciting. It was lively. People were excited about going to the games. Mm-hmm. And of course, then you fast forward to when we get in the Benz. Of course, we haven't had a winning season in almost 8 seasons since that time. So the morale is a little bit lower because we're hoping, we are expecting our team to finally be that team that's going to make it to the playoffs, take over the NFC South. And the buzz is right now. So I believe that we're going to start back to seeing that kind of vibe that we saw in the Georgia Dome. And the other thing too, fellas, is listen, you can add a Sports Illustrated section. You can add a Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous section to any stadium. If that team is not bringing wins to that stadium, all those external things don't mean anything.
Yeah.
They mean nothing.
Mike's drop moment. If you could clip that, do that for the man, because he's in on his debut and he's dropping straight facts from the off. So you can see why Des and I recruited this man. I mean, it speaks for itself.
It's all about winning, Look at Arrowhead Stadium. It's an old stadium. It's not that great. They're trying to, build a new stadium and everything. But just because they win, that place is packed all the time. It's loud as hell. It's colder than hell. So it's like you don't want to be out there when it's people lost their fingers for a game like 2 years ago or something being out there.
Yeah. Like I've heard about making sacrifices for football, and I have sacrificed my fingers to a degree. I mean, 7 dislocations is some sacrifice, but I mean, losing them to frostbite is another level. Yeah. so I'm like respect.
Listen, I wouldn't even tell you what damage I done in the game that we do not mention. You know what I mean? We're not talking about damage to your TV, bro. That's different.
Well, at least, when we do start winning, we'll be able to be comfortable. But have the indoor AC, like it'll.
and I feel like it's going to be kind of a self-explaining circle. Like I feel like wins are going to put arses in seats. We can sit here and we can go, "Oh no, you need to be there and support the team," but they're going to support winners. They don't want to go there and sit for 3 hours essentially every Sunday to watch their team get the shit kicked out of them. And it's why I'm thrilled to see why Cleveland gets such high attendance now. So, I mean, it begs belief. So,
but again, that's how you have to give shout out to Lamarcus. You know what I mean? He's effectively going game in, game out to watch the Falcons win. I mean, let's be honest. The last 3-4 years hasn't been pleasant viewing. I mean, I always say the Arthur Smith scenario was just a failure, a complete failure. The 3 seasons he was coached. So fair play to Lamarcus. You know what I mean? Yeah. That he's paying his cash week in, week out to go and see the team. You know what I mean? But I'll say it again. But you've mentioned it before. I don't really care that we're number 1 in food experience and number 2 in fan experience. As Lamarcus said, I want a winning team. That's all I care about. See if I went to the stadium and there was a hole in the roof and it was pouring rain and I was getting soaked. See, as long as they're winning, I don't really care about the hole in the roof. Yeah. All I'm interested in is about my team winning.
I didn't become a Falcons fan because of stadium, even though it was before, like, we had the Mercedes-Benz anyways, but I don't think most people choose their team based off the stadium. If they do, they're probably not really a fan of football anyways. It's like to go to an event,
Yeah, and it's not the National Aesthetics League, and it's not the National Snacks League. It is the National Football League. So first and foremost, you need to get it done on the field. I agree with you all 100%. And I just, as I say, I'm really, really excited because, as I say, I've been saying to Des for a couple of weeks now that we've been trying and pushing hard to get these bigger panels with some of the AFNI frequent flyers, as we've now come to call them. So to really open up and so you don't just have the same two voices for 6-8 hours every week. Is really been fun, and as I say, the new takes is only going to help the AFN brand grow. So on that note, I do know that we're very, very close to 4,000 subscribers on the main channel. So if you do get the chance, hit like, smash subscribe on your way out after the show, and do it also for the international channel, because at last check, we are at 71 subscribers. So if all 4,000 of you that watch the main show and do pop in here, do remember to hit subscribe before you leave. That way you can always get the notifications when we go live. You can come in and interact with the international family and your brothers overseas. So moving on then to the next issue that we've got. So it's the uniforms. So the team finally... Oh, that's the roster and depth chart. Sorry. That's the uniform schedule for 2025. So I've got a couple of graphics here just kind of showing off some of the threads, and then we'll break down week by week for you so that you can dress accordingly, LaMarcus, when you go to as many games as you do. So the uniform schedule for our Dirty Birds. So it breaks down as... I will just remove this header a wee second. Okay. So we are in black jerseys for week 1, week 4, week 8, week 11, week 14, week 16, and week 18 against the Aints. And then we're in white jerseys week 2 and 3, week 7, week 9 and 10, week 12 and 13 to finish out the season. And then the red helmets, the throwback uniforms, week 6 against the Bills, week 15 against... I can't even see that from here, but remind me. And week 17 against the LA Rams as well.
Cardinals, yeah.
The Cardinals, thank you. As I say, I'm getting old, and once the eyesight goes, you're
yeah,
pretty,
no, it's very
pretty
pixelated. It's just on my computer screen, so I can have a bit more room to read that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, once you get by a certain size, you're like, who is that again?
Yeah.
But no, thanks again for that. But yeah, as I say, that's the uniform breakdown for the season. So what are your favourite threads? And if you could kind of, as I say, I shared my thoughts on a year 60 uniform, but what's your favourite uniform going into the season? I do love those throwbacks. Des, what do you think?
Yeah, red helmets. I mean, and again, another rant. You know what I mean? Where's the 60th anniversary uniform? Where's the 60th anniversary jersey? You know what I mean?
I know.
60 this year. You would have thought they would have released a new uniform. You know what I mean?
And you know what? We really should be on the payroll by now, because not only have we suggested they're tartan, but now we're suggesting...
I am a strike while the iron's hot person, and it is pretty hot. But I think they're just waiting out to see how Penix does this year, how this year plays out, to do a whole uniform reset. I hope it is like the uniforms, the classics with the red helmet and all that stuff, but also like the old red jerseys too, though. Not like the 2000s, like more like the 80s, 70s like era red.
Yeah,
I like those a bit more better. And then if we did have an alternate that had the black, I'd do black as alternate, red mainly, but classic. Yeah, classic numbers.
I like that. But I think like your 70s classic would be like alt 1, and then I would have alt 2 and all black, but the all black would be sort of early mid 2000s Vic era all black. So you could mix and match, because as I say, we love to look forward, but we need to show love back as well to the Claude Humphreys and the Bill Frelics and the guys that really put us on the map, the Terence Mathises, without whom we would be sitting here talking about, you know, the Matty Ices and the Julios and the Tony Gs.
I mean, looking the bright side, none of our uniforms look like something out of a camouflage, like a shooting range kind of thing. And I mean, I think the Steelers is that. I mean, it looks horrendous. You know what I mean? So
no,
people actually like the goddamn Bumblebee ones better than because of that. Like, it made those ones better just because something worse took over. But Yeah,
No,
the
and
Rams
then you
game
get to the
is an
NFC
interesting choice, though. I'm surprised they wouldn't put one of the games on a Patriot game or something. You know, they're already going to be
Oh.
talking about 28-3 the whole fucking game on the broadcast, but
Oh,
yeah.
We're going to have Louis in the chat before that game, and I can't wait to make him eat his words. As Des says, 283 diamonds on that motherfucking ring.
Yeah, when we went up, 283 diamonds on the Super Bowl ring.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Shove it up.
And then that's it. And we're going to start with you this time, Lamarcus, as we move on to the next issue. So we're going to take a little look before we get into the roster. There's so many rookie starters on defense, and as I say, I'm going to single out the 4 guys, show them some love because y'all know who they are. Jalen Walker out of the University of Georgia, James Pierce Jr. from the University of Tennessee, Xavier Watts from the University of Notre Dame, and Billy Badass Bowman Jr. from the University of Oklahoma. The team that I know you rep, Cam, as well. So shout out to your Sooners for that one. Thank you for producing that level of talent because boys are baller. And my question to you, and as I say, we'll start with you, Lamarcus, and we'll go around. There's a very pretty Defensive Rookie of the Year trophy. So when we have 4 defensive rookie starters, will a Falcons player lift that trophy? And if a Falcons player lifts that trophy, which one of those 4 men will it be, in your opinion?
This is tough, fellas. But listen here. I want to go back to the preseason games and training camp. I want to talk about Mr. James Pierce, the dog.
Hell yeah.
This guy was getting in a fight with some of the other players on the team. Now, typically, that is not the kind of behavior that you want to see from a rookie. However, what it does say is this boy means business. He's out to play this game, and he wants to show them that he's not messing around. Definitely, without even looking at the other guys, just because of his dog mentality, I say James Pierce has got to get it.
Okay. I'm going to second that. I love James Pierce Jr. Just the level of intensity and fire that he brings. It really was the caveat to the amount of fire that I bring to the table about this defense this year. It's really mainly James Pierce Jr. And Jalen Walker, but more so JPJ. Just the amount of, as I say, he's coming with those hands swinging, so you got to love it. Cam, if you've got to choose between one of those 4, who's getting
James
DROI?
Pierce for sure, because like he's the guy with he has a speed. He's gonna start out fast. He's right there on the line. Like Billy and Watts, they're gonna have to do really impressive stuff to like excel. They have to be a lot smarter. They have to and that's the thing in the NFL. A lot of cornerbacks and safeties, you're going to get burnt most of the time. That's why you're, not a wide receiver. Even the best get burnt. Yeah. But even for us to have a rookie of the year, we'd have to get pretty far in the playoffs because our expectations are just make the playoffs this year, please. That's it. Yeah. So to even get rookie of the year for Falcons, how the media, they're going to choose another team that's way hotter or something, a way bigger market. Or I don't even think it's the media that chooses. It is a player vote, right, for rookie of the year. Okay, but I mean, the Falcons will have to as a unit overperform to even get one of our players considered as rookie of the year. But yeah, it'd have to go to Pierce just because he's in the best position to fill in that role and do his job.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Des, are you going to jump on the bandwagon, or are you going to throw a spanner in the works for us?
Yeah, I'll kind of second what Cam says. The issue with safety and obviously nickelback is the fact that it's not considered a premium position, with his edge is. So even if James Pierce has maybe say 5 or 6 sacks, I'd be delighted with that. I think as Lamarcus said, you seen a recent video and they were talking about obviously their college games, college teams, and he shoved Jalen Walker away. You know what I mean? Jalen Walker runs up and starts shouting, "Go Dogs!" and he was like, I mean, what I would say is about James Pierce Jr. is, I mean, that guy literally just wants to fight with the world, and I'm here for it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah,
I've said before, I don't want my edges to be effectively nice guys. I want them to be nasty, because effectively that's what they're going out every week to effectively batter some other guy on the other side and get to the quarterback. So they need to be nasty.
And I'm going to have to put this one two ways. I'm going to have to translate it. In Scotland, we would say it would be your Iron Brew and Blue Smarties and shake them up. But in America, I would say something along the lines of
Mentos.
Or Nerds and Monster. Just get them amped, shake them up, and let them loose. Let them go. And see what happens. I'm ready for some fireworks.
What I'd rather have, I'd have some Works toilet cleaner and a ball of tinfoil in a plastic bottle. That's what the explosiveness I want. That actually does make a bomb. But
we want to lay people flat. We don't want to maim.
We want extra. We want extra viewers, mate, but we don't want the FBI to be watching.
Come on.
So I think stay away from that. Literally about 40,000 eyes in is it Arlington? The FBI is in Arlington. I've just all started watching.
Well,
you know what I mean? So
funnily enough. So so just check your VPNs and delete those search histories quick, boys.
Oh, no. That was a word to mouth thing. I didn't even have to look that up. I didn't.
Very don't ask, don't tell. We take no responsibility. We don't condone any illegal activity here on this channel. Oh dear. But
unless it's James Pierce Jr.
Unless you're James Pierce Jr., because then you can do what you like, and I'm not going to tell you different.
On the back, you can do what you want. You know what I mean? I'm all up for him getting
be up and running for like a rookie of the year to even like be considered. Because again, this team has to, in my opinion, overperform to even get a rookie of the year. You know, but you know, Jalen would have to do a lot just because he's gonna be like going back or just on the edge. He does like two different things. He moves around a lot. He would have to do so much, which I would be happy if it was Jalen. That's who I'd be the most happy with, because that means he's executing his job perfectly to a T. But James Pierce just is the simple, more straight option, in my opinion.
And what's interesting to me is, I mean, I know it's flexible and all the rest of it. I know they can line up in different positions, but what interests me is I was assuming that as the shorter, stockier of the two guys, he's not quite as long. He doesn't have quite as much reach or quite as much fast twitch for me. I thought that they were going to list Jalen as an outside backer and Pierce as an end, but it turns out that they're both listed at defensive end. But I feel like, as we've said before on the show, I feel like, I guess it all comes under edge defender now, doesn't it? Very much in the way that safety, corner, and nickel is just all defensive back. I feel like we've reached a point in the league now where your skill set matters more than your position to a degree. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
And what you bring to the table?
Yeah. Can I just jump in? So
sure can.
So I've just checked the odds on Defensive Rookie of the Year. Just one of the websites I go into. So Abdul Carter is actually the favourite.
That's who I was, honestly, in the back of my head, I was thinking Abdul Carter is probably going to get it. He's in the best position, in my opinion.
Jalen Walker is second. Then you've got Travis Hunter, Michael Williams, Mike Green, Mason Graham, Jihad Campbell, Shamar Stewart, then James Pierce Jr. So I can literally get James Pierce Jr. at 18-1. to be defensive player
I'd
of
take
the
that.
year.
I mean, that's the smartest. Like Abdul is like the other people list, like even Travis Hunter, like he's doing 2 jobs. Like that's the thing. It's going to be difficult to execute 2 jobs so well. That's like, yeah, this guy was the game changer. I mean, if you do that, then that's phenomenal for your team and that player. But I mean,
yeah. I don't know if he's the guy to do it. Like I don't know if he has the cut of like a Deion Sanders or something. It's really, but yeah, it would be great to see because I mean, I'm all for seeing changes and shifts in the league when it's appropriate. And as I say,
I hope that is like something that is more often where it's like, yeah, we do move guys around. I know that kind of makes a mess of everything, but I loved it when we had Mohamed Sanu just throw a deep bomb randomly, and I like to use guys and whatever abilities they do have. It's just hard to justify that with everyone being so skill focused.
Again, just back onto that, Xavier Watts is 80-1.
Wow. That's quite impressive odds. I wouldn't mind throwing a wee tenner on that if I had it spell. That's not bad odds. That's 800 quid for your tenner. Wow.
When he could get some picks. I mean, Jesse Bates made Pro Bowler just getting picks off of everyone in their own division,
Yeah.
And they're going to stay away from Jesse when they're throwing the ball. They're going to go after the rookie when they're...
Yeah. That might be a bad idea, knowing his college pedigree.
Yeah.
So I don't really know if that is
picks in college. Yeah.
So I do have a little bit of concern for AJ Terrell because he's going to have to step up again this season, and he's going to have some big questions asked him. So
honestly,
I'll be intriguing to see how he holds up this year.
AJ Terrell, he honestly reminds me, like, not the same position, but as a Grady, as somebody in the locker room. Like, he was very close with Grady in that building, and I think AJ is going to be like one of the leaders of this defense eventually. Obviously, Jesse Bates is just by his play on the field, but I feel like AJ, he's been a part of like kind of the older era of people that were still around to this like new era. Like he's just
he's a veteran at this point. I'd agree with that. He's definitely one of the old heads and definitely a more
he was here when Matt Ryan was here, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. He came in the year before Pitts, so he'd have got the last 2 years Ryan.
Yeah. AJ Terrell.
Yeah.
AJ Terrell was 2020. So Ryan's last season was 2021. Yeah.
So I thought that he had the last 2 seasons with Matty Ice. And how do you feel in terms of that when you're talking about just like skill set and how much it's changed, LaMarcus, now that you're back with us? Do you agree that the league's changed to a level where your skill set matters more than your position? If you can hear me, okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
No, you're okay.
No,
I think I missed the whole segment.
No, don't worry. All we were asking is we're talking a little bit about the Defensive Rookie of the Year, which you kind of faded out during, but we've kind of ended it out with asking if, in terms of skill sets versus position, do you think that your skill set matters more than your position now because we have edge defender as a position rather than defensive end or defensive outside linebacker? So do you feel like...
I'm sorry.
No, go on.
You know what, guys? I actually lean more towards the skill set because I think it's the skill set that actually leads the way for you to make the plays and actually change the game as a result of the plays that you make because of your skill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, you can come in with all the... I'm quite an experimenter when it comes to Madden and things like that. I'll go on and try people in different positions, but as I say, 99 speed's 99 speed. That's quite universal, and there's things that translate. So, yeah, I completely agree with you, Marcus, when you talk about skill set being more important.
But again, another thing to look at as well is that a lot of these players, they rate them by the RAS, which is the relative athletic score. So again, you tend to see the ones that are like in the 9s and the elites and all that, they tend to be the ones that are successful.
Yep.
And I think that's down to the fact that they're more athletic. So effectively, if the skill set isn't there so much, then effectively you can train that. You can sometimes train that into them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're just not athletic enough, then that tends to be sometimes an issue. So, I mean, it can go both ways on skill set or how athletic the player is.
Yeah, definitely see what you're saying. It can be a bit of a
skill set for sure. Just because when you have a guy that is specifically good at one thing, you can plan around that. When you just have a guy that's like, all right, he fills this position, and we're going to use him for that. Yeah, that's very solid, but you don't want that to be that's not the guy you're necessarily leaning on. What your game's like. When you got a Julio Jones that you can throw those deep balls in contested catching, or even Drake compared. He's a very great contested catcher. When you have a Bijan that's great in open space and all that stuff, and can make the cuts and make magic happen out of situations that should have been like a hospital ball. But yeah, I'll take skill set any day. Cordell Patterson, that was a guy that was positionless for a bit, however you want to put it, but he was. I mean, he did many great things across different positions. If you have the skill,
and as much as I hate to shout out a rival in the Ents, look at what Taysom Hill's doing over there. He's been a QB, a tight end. I know he's not particularly amazing at any of them, but he's tried.
Come on, you've mentioned I mean, are we going to mention the GOAT man as well? I mean, I hate that man. I hate that man. He's up there with the GOAT man. Taysom Hill. Can't stand the man. Can't stand the man. Hate the man.
We'll make sure that's the last time we mention him then.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I don't want to see any players hurt, but every time Taysom Hill makes one of the wee quarterback runs, I just want somebody just to smack him. I really do. I just want one of the Atlanta Falcons players just to smack him. You know what I mean? It's
get that head pinballing inside between the cheek pads. But yeah, as I say, we're an hour deep already, and we've covered a lot of the kind of breaking news and things like that. So a lot of what I wanted to do, because I feel like we only just touched on it in the last episode, Des, especially now that we've got the guys with us down in the panel as well, is talk in a little bit more detail about if there's any big standouts for us between the roster and the practice squad. So we'll start with the practice squad, and I've still got these visuals from the last show, I'm sure.
First of all, I just want to say shame on you, Micah Parsons, for actually effectively tweeting your trade while we were on show. I mean, we were talking about the squad and the practice squad, and then bang. He decides he done it deliberately.
Did you have to turn the whole show into that after that? You had to just talk about that.
It was about 20 minutes, because when it broke, we were live and I can't remember what we were on.
That's the only thing you could talk about. You have to talk about it.
Yeah. One of the people that were watching, Jay, he actually put on a comment, said Parsons to Green Bay Packers, and I then jumped in front of Will and said, wait a minute, Will, somebody just said that Micah Parsons has went to Green Bay Packers, and I then put it up, and I was like, oh my God.
I didn't see news until like an hour after it was dropped, and I was watching Tom Grossi. Tom Grossi, he also has this guy.
Oh, yeah. And Agar as well. She was going mental, yeah.
He was in denial. He somehow made himself. He's like, "What if there is something that nobody knows? What if there is something, a reason why Jerry would trade?" It's like, no, Jerry just messed up the deal. Like, he screwed up the situation, the relationship.
And I mean,
you can discuss Jerry Jones again. Did you see what he said in to the press today?
Oh yeah, he can't stop the run. So we gotta.
No.
The other.
It was about one of his team, one of his players. Last year got caught doing 100 miles an hour in a car, and he's been caught speeding again. But Jerry Jones came out and said, well, I really believe, I can't remember who the player is, but I really believe he's matured. And then asked the reporter, what speed was he doing? And the reporter says 66 miles an hour. And he said, well, there you go. He's went from 100 mile an hour in a year down to 66 miles per hour. So that shows that he's maturing. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's mature. He's mature, and he didn't kill 5 people. He only killed 3.
And he was talking about how Micah could get hit by a bus. Meanwhile, he's defending a player that literally could get himself in a car wreck. Like,
and you wonder why Micah Parsons wanted out, because he's seen all this double standards. He's been phenomenal, clean sheet, not
perfect. All he does is controversial is a podcast. And that's like whatever, so what, as long as he's not saying things like too like confidential or whatever for the team,
And if you want to come at the podcast,
not hurting nobody. Yeah.
just know that we will stand on our right to talk about our birds. We will.
Cowboys fans saying like Micah can't play good in the postseason. Well, guess what? You don't got that problem no more because you're not seeing the postseason.
Yeah. When was he seeing the postseason in Dallas?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point. When were you last in the postseason? So.
And then they lost to Green Bay, and apparently, Jerry Jones says that's the most ashamed he felt was losing to Green Bay in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he trades him to Green Bay.
Yeah, so let's. I mean, you would trade him out of conference. That's the first thing you're going to do.
100%.
Yeah, why even keep him in the NFC, let alone to the team that keeps knocking you out of the playoffs?
And then you're facing them in a month's time.
Yeah, week 5. Yeah.
Week 4.
Dak Prescott is going to get absolutely mauled.
Oh yeah, dude, Jerry's head is gonna just blow up. He could barely handle criticism from one of his reporters a year ago and threatened to fire him on camera. Dude, he will not be able to handle this year. I think there's a leadership change happening in the next year or two. I mean, Jerry's gonna hold on to it. You're gonna have to take it from his cold dead hands.
I'm just looking forward to seeing what Tyler drafts and the 2 first-round picks that he gets. What Tyler it's going to be?
Yeah, Tyler A and Tyler B.
Yeah. He'll be looking up the T's just now to see.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he's looking at Arch Manning the same. I mean, that game wasn't. Well, I didn't watch the whole game. The Texans game, Texas game was on.
Given his history of QB play, Cam, he might be calling Arch Manning up right now and going, "You wouldn't be changing your name to Tyler, would you?"
Yeah.
But as I say, there's so many like ways that we could laugh. So I've decided to just bring up the around the NFL section because I've got a couple of clips here, and we'll go into specifics. So as I say, if for the people in the chat when you get to it, if you don't know, as I say, Micah Parsons has been traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers. That is for a 2026 and a 2027 first round pick, in addition to defensive tackle Kenny Clark. Now, Micah Parsons has also come out and had his first press conference in Green Bay, and he has claimed his new jersey number. Shout out to 24/7 Sports for this visual, but he's claimed number 1. And as we say, and as Cam rightly pointed out, week 4, Micah Parsons will be returning to AT&T to face his former team in the Cowboys.
Oh wow!
And heads will roll because Jerry will be in attendance, of course. So it's going to be a fun night. So let's call that one a special interest game for the avid fans around the league. And as I say, the rest of us have had our say on how ridiculous it might be. But LaMarcus, how do you feel about the trade? And surely Dallas could have got more than that. Surely they are the losers in this scenario here.
You got the whole division thanking you.
Not really sure what Jerry Jones was thinking, but he's older, so maybe his thought process was interrupted by his age. That's going to be a huge loss for Dallas and a great gain for the Green Bay Packers and Mr. Jordan Love. Talk about the weapons that he now has to throw to. And you know what? We're in the NFC too. Not to say that they would pose a threat for us, but with him joining now the NFC, we do have to be concerned with facing that team should we make it up the road into the playoffs. And if Green Bay does so, likewise. Right? You know, who knows?
Yes,
Maybe it'll be one of those matchups like we had when Michael Vick was playing against that other guy that ran for the Packers. But a big win for Green Bay, a loss for Dallas. And I think that, Green Bay definitely won in that situation.
I agree with
when
you.
you got Giants fans, Eagles fans, and Commanders fans all thanking the Cowboys for doing that. Yeah, you messed up.
You know it's a bad day in the office 100% when your divisional rivals are thanking you. Kind of similar to us
right now. They got a defensive tackle that's 30 years old and had a foot injury last season. He couldn't even he wasn't even performing great for them.
But they're going to be able to stop the run. I mean, they'll not be able to sack the quarterback, but they're going to be able to stop the run.
And Green Bay, you know, the team known for its running, style, no, they're a passing team. I mean, they ain't got that great of wide receivers. They've been begging for a wide receiver, but they make it work. I don't think Green Bay is a necessarily running team like Atlanta is. Atlanta is one of the more evenly split running passing teams by now.
Yeah. Definitely. And that's what I was saying. I mean, for the Dallas fans that might be illogical and delusional and trying to make some sense of this with the fact that you got Kenny Clark, I would argue that revisit this in 2 years' time and see where you're at compared to where Green Bay is at with signing Parsons. And that's all I'll say about that. We do have a comment down in the chat. So, Kurt ATL, I think the Cowboys won the trade. 47 million for one defensive player is crazy. It's a lot to pay a player, but that's maximum. It starts at 39.
But if he's giving you 10 plus sacks a year, you know what I mean?
The only way this I could say it's a failure for the Packers is if he gets injured. That's there's injuries coming up, and that's just that's not even anyone's fault. It's just misfortune.
That's the problem when you've got a player at TJ Watt level ability, kind of caliber ability. You've got to pay TJ Watt money.
I'll admit that. It's a lot of eggs in one basket. But they got most of their bases covered.
But
just quarterbacks. That's what they got to worry about.
But the other way to look at it as well is that you've got a first round pick in 2026 that literally could be a late 20, 28, 29. You know what I mean? You're nearly into the second round. If the Packers are as good as what they could be,
they don't win it all. Yeah, they're going deep.
I said to Will earlier on, the Dallas Cowboys are probably the most attacked team in the NFL behind just in front of the Atlanta Falcons. You know, the Falcons do anything, it's laughed at. You know,
and it doesn't bother Packers fans because they draft better in the second round anyways. They don't need their first round picks.
No, that's true. Historically, you're right. But as I say, what we will do is have a bit more of a breakdown of this roster. So just looking at it again, we know the names. We've got the 53 here in front of us. So are there any specific names? As I say, I would single out probably Natron Brooks, Josh Woods, in terms of defense. On offense, I will give a shout out to Felipe Franks because, damn it, he's earned it. Again, somehow, some way, but yeah, he's back. But y'all are welcome to help me out. So we'll start with you, Marcus, this time. Who are the standouts in the roster for you? Wait, before I do let you go though, Nathan Carter as well. That boy is a baller. I'll let you go, sir. Sorry.
Can you do me a favor, Will? Can you pass it over to either Cam?
I sure can.
Look at what was the question? I'm sorry, I was
no, I was just basically saying.
Standouts.
Standouts for the roster.
Oh, standouts. Okay. I mean, it's going to be on the offensive side for me. Just Bijan or Drake. I mean, they're going to have a great year with Penix. I feel like it's going to be a really great connection. You know, I mean, I would even choose defense in some positions too, but it's just offense. I'm ready to see the foot put down on the pedal. You know.
Yeah.
Pedal
I
to the metal.
completely agree.
Yeah.
The one, as I say, the one thing that's given me doubt is that offensive line. But knowing how mobile Michael Penix Jr. can get, I'm not as worried because we can still use a running game enough to where we can open up play action down the road later on in the game.
If I'm gonna compare it to a vehicle right now, I would say like we got a cracked head gasket. We might be leaking some oil, you know, but we just got to get home. We got to drive quick. We just got to put the pedal down.
Yeah, that's it. If you've got it,
if you've got on the offense,
if you need to get to whip out the gaffer tape, the blue tack, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whatever you need to do,
Mondo.
That's it. Yeah. Get it done. Get it to the finish line. However we need to. But as I say, even with I don't think the wheels have come off quite yet. Even with the Caleb McGarry injury, I still see this as a 10-7 to 11-6 football team. I mean, Des, I'm giving them one more loss, possibly two. So how does it change your original pick? I know you were around about that 12-5 mark as well. How do you feel now?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to how the run game is going to be with either Elijah Wilkinson or Storm Norman. Storm Norton. For me, anyway. I mean, we know that the run game is going to be a massive part of this offense. And to be honest, we know that the offense is effectively going to be the main part of this team. We're excited for the defense. Looking at the roster, probably the two players that I'm really excited to watch, apart from the rookies that we've talked 1,000 words about, are Leonard Floyd and Divine Diablo. Because Leonard Floyd is a seasoned veteran, and effectively everywhere he goes, he has sacks. Mm-hmm. And from what you hear in training camp, Divine Diablo's been a standout as well. Effectively, really, really exciting player, and I'm looking forward to seeing they two players, along with the rookies and everybody else. But with the Caleb McGarry getting down, it's all about the run game. How good can we make the run game? Then you look at Nathan Carter. How good can Nathan Carter be behind the first team O-line?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
As he did in training camp in the preseason against effectively a second and third string O-line, then I'm hoping that he's going to look 10 times better behind this first team O-line.
Oh yeah, I completely agree with that. I think he's going to be electric. Once you turn them loose, and as we've said a few times in the last couple of episodes, Des, he brings something unique. You have the power running style of Tyler Algier. Just get his head down and get the job, get the hard yards, so to speak, that you want from a power back. Then you've got Bijan, who just has some of the slickest, most crisp cuts I've ever seen in my life of watching football players. And then, of course, you've just got the speed demon now in Nathan Carter. So I feel like it just gives us one more dimension to this offense. So now we'll circle back to you, Marcus. We've had our say, so how do you feel?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. I was actually trying to get my thoughts together about what I had seen and some things that I read. So the first thing that I wanted to come back to is, did DeMarco Hellams, did he make the official 53-man roster?
He did. Yeah,
he did.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I have a personal reason why I would like to see him really do better than he did last year. The first thing is, I was there at the actual NFL draft when he got selected, and ESPN did a little special. If you go back, you'll see it. ESPN did a little special, and they caught me on the big Megatron, and I had a beer in my hand while I was celebrating his victory. So it was pretty cool. So I have invested just to see DeMarco Hellams continue being the great player that he was during that time. And I also, watching one of the preseason games, I don't remember the first name, but the last name is Nash.
Oh, Nick Nash,
Nick Nash. Yeah, he made the practice squad.
Okay. I hope that he gets elevated at some point if something should happen to where we need to pull from the practice squad. I do hope that they pick him because he showed some grit and fire during the preseason game. It was great to watch him play.
Yeah, he made some great grabs, 100%. And I love DeMarco Hellams. I feel like, although we've called Jordan Fuller up to the 53-man squad now, I feel like DeMarco Hellams is your backup safety. I feel if either Jesse or Xavier Watts goes down, he's the next man up. And there's a lot to like in him. He'll come down into the box and he will take your head off. As I say, it reminds me of sort of some of the safeties of old, a little bit of that Troy Polamalu or someone of that sort of ilk, and hopefully he can have a similar ceiling now that he's recovered, now that he's back fully ready to go. So yeah, all great shouts from all you guys, and as I say again, shout out to all of you for joining me tonight because as I say, it looks like we're bringing the Saturday scrimmage back because the AFNI boys are they're bringing the big points and the hard questions, and they're really making us think. So it's a blessing to be here with you all.
I mean, another thing as well, is that I've said this before. This is the first time I'm really, really excited to see what the defense can do. I mean, I can't remember ever saying that because I think in 2016, Matt Ryan had the number 15th defense.
That sounds about right.
And we got to the Super Bowl. So effectively, that was the best defense he ever had as a quarterback in Atlanta. And you want to hope that the era with Michael Penix Jr., that effectively we give them competent defenses. And I can't remember looking at a defense and start rhyming off all these names. You know what I mean? Jesse Bates the third, Xavier Watts, Billy Bowman, AJ Terrell, you know what I mean? Mike Hughes, DeMarco Hellams, all these players, you know what I mean? You've got James Pierce Jr. at edge, you know what I mean? You've got Jalen Walker, you know what I mean? You've got I mean, it's just it keeps coming and going. When you look down the defense, it's like name after name after name.
100%.
I mean, I remember like the last few years looking at Edge and going, "Who's this guy?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, literally a third string with Green Bay Packers or something, and he's our starting edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Calais Campbell was phenomenal, but I mean, he was like 490. You know what I mean?
That guy could not get on the outside. I mean, like you can't blame him. He's big. He's like in his late 30s, or later half, or getting there.
Yeah.
And
like
I applaud the
attempt.
He put the effort in. He got his 100th sack that year, which was also great to see. But
I did not blame him at all when he made the switch.
Good to be happy about the edge group now. The only position I can think of on the team where I'm like, who's this guy? Is the right tackle position right now. And we will figure out who Elijah Wilkinson is pretty quick in the first 4 weeks, especially at that Bills game. But
that is the thing, as you say. We will see in the first 4 weeks, so we'll have a good idea by the bye whether or not basically Storm Norton's coming back to take the job.
Yeah, that bye does kind of honestly work around Storm Norton's injury, So as unfortunate as it seemed to get that early week bye, 5 week bye, it actually worked out pretty well with our situation. So I like that.
Yeah, because then at least we have one more option if he is doing well. But if he does take the job back, then at least then we've got a decent enough sample size for Wilkinson or whoever the starting right tackle is going to be to say, nah, we've got enough here to say whether or not you're the guy. and one whether or not Storm's coming back to take a job. So, yeah, I
it
completely
all is
agree with that.
relative when you get your week bye. Not every team can have the week 11 bye every year. We damn near had that, right? Did we for 2 years straight? We have week 11, or it was like week 10 then week 11 or something. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, I think it was
for the
week
past
10
2
and week
years.
11.
Yeah, or even 3
Yeah.
years. I don't know how far back it goes, but we had some pretty good buys in the past few years.
I mean, the other benefit as well is if you look at all the other O-lines, I mean, most of the NFL O-lines have always got 1 or 2 weak spots. So effectively, Elijah Wilkinson's going to be like our weak spot, but the other 4 guys around them are going to be phenomenal. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that effectively Ryan Nuzzo doesn't take a step back, and
Right.
everything that we've seen.
Anyone else gets injured, that's when the wheels probably start to fall off.
Yeah.
Like, if Chris or Bergeron gets injured, Bergeron's held up well. Chris is held up for longer. Jake, that guy is just he always sticks around. He never misses. He's only missed 1 game in his entire career. But
yeah, he's
I hope
a medical marvel at this point. I think. Yeah, hopefully.
I mean,
hopefully it does stay that way for years to come.
See if we win the Super Bowl. That's the man I want to see lifting up that trophy. Jake Marcus,
the persistence that he's had.
He's earned it.
You know, there's some guys in the NFL that have played the best at their position in the NFL, and they never even see the playoffs. You know, it's a crazy league.
Yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid, and I feel like he's ring of honor material. He's done so much for this offensive line. As you say, one missed start in 12 years is insane. Just how much longevity he's had, especially one of the hardest. Yeah, 100%. I wish we could have 5 of them on the offensive line with that kind of tenacity.
but again, as I was saying earlier, I mean, the psychological thing with Ryan Nuzzo, it's easy enough setting him up as a backup and playing a game, but when you're then effectively put up as the main starter, psychologically
expected,
psychologically, how does he handle that? So I'm hoping that effectively he comes on and does as well as he did last year.
He did 6 starts or 7 starts last year, right?
8, I think. 8 starts.
8, and then the year before was like 6 or something. So he's done almost fully used to be a full season before they added an extra game, or 2. But
shout out to the chat. How you doing, Bucks? Good to see you in the building. It's good to see the rivals even when they show up.
9 more days, man. 9 more days.
Yep. 8. I flashed up Kyle Pitts at the start.
Okay, since we got a Bucks fan here, who do you think is more detrimental to their offensive line losing, Tristan Wirfs or Kel McGarry? You know, that's
an interesting question. Actually,
both teams lost a very important piece of their line.
Cam, I would put it down to time.
We also lost Dahlman, so you could argue.
I would put it down to time. The Bucks have had more time to solve that solution with Tristan Wirfs. We've only had a week or 2. You know what I mean? They knew 5-6 weeks ago that he wasn't going to be playing week 1, so they've had more time to effectively work out what they're going to do at that position. We're effectively a week and a bit.
I do need to look at their depth or something, like check out who they even have, like to replace Worst. Yeah, I think they probably have better depth at O-line.
Slightly, I think in terms of their backups, but when you talk about like what Des was saying, I would agree, and that would be the only differential because both quarterbacks can get it done on the move. So losing one offensive lineman's not going to destroy the offense for either MPJ or for Baker Mayfield. So again, both mobile guys.
Both teams can. I would assume the Falcons can throw the ball. We just don't know that yet. With like not having seen the season, we've seen a few games. Obviously, Michael Penix can throw the ball, but like how consistently that works in like a season that he starts off from, But both teams can run the ball. I would assume the Falcons can pass the ball just as well as the Bucks. I'm just not going to declare that until that's actually a fact. But
especially with the slant masters on is on question, so but they may not even have Mike Evans for the game. So they've got a couple of bodies missing, not just Tristan Wirfs. So
they got some depth in their safety room missing. Not depth. There's Godwin's missing. They got who else? There's a couple guys. There's like 3 or 4 guys that are pretty important.
And another thing as well, guys, I think probably the biggest important thing about the Bucks game is that the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator just doesn't know what's going to come up with the Atlanta defense.
He's better done some studying. There's no
tape out there to show him what's going to happen. We don't even know what's going to happen. I mean, there's so many unknowns on this defense for Atlanta that effectively, how can you game plan around that? It's going to be virtually impossible.
It is a very big different defense. The edges, the safety group, the linebackers, all of it's changed.
And I mean, and shout out to Ulbrich because it comes from the top as well.
Cornerbacks is probably the only position that's stayed about the same.
Yeah. But look at Coach Ulbrich when he was mic'd up at practice. Coach Morris is like, can I get a couple of mulligans? He goes, man, you don't get no fucking mulligans with my defense. So if that's what he's saying to his own offense, what's he going to do with the rest of the league? That's all I'm saying.
Hey, guys. I think if you don't mind, I think there's a very interesting perspective that we should possibly consider on September the 7th on Sunday. By the way, I will be there at that game in the ATL, so I'm going to try to bring you guys as much content as I possibly can.
Hell yeah.
Too much of your voice.
Listen up, fellas. Here's the deal. We played Tampa Bay last year, and remember the game, it was super close. We played them again. It was still close. So this game ultimately is going to come down to clock management and a time of possession. And here's the reason why. We've got Bijan Robinson. They've got Bucky Brooks. I mean, the guy, he's a soldier. He's a runner's runner. You know what I'm saying? They've got Mike Evans. We've got Drake London, Darnell Mooney. So if you do the head-to-head, even with the people that are out, we still seem to be pretty evenly matched. And the games in prior years kind of show that just based off of what the score is. I think it's going to come down to who manages the clock well and who's got the ball towards the end of the quarter and can maintain that on the field.
I'm not going to do a score prediction, but I think it will be over 30, maybe even reach 40 points for the first game. Like, it might be a shootout. I feel like it's going to have to turn to a shootout at some point.
It could well happen. I feel like I don't want to leave it in the position where we have Koo kicking it. I don't want to risk Koo too early in the season. So I want to see what MPJ's got right out the gate. So we're coming out fighting. If we lose in a shootout, I'm happy with that because it's only week 1. I told you I am perfectly satisfied going into the bye week 2-2. I will be ecstatic to be 2-2 going into the bye. I've said to Des many times, I won't disguise that fact. I'm not going to come out here and say we're going to be 4-0 because we have a really hard schedule to kind of the first 6-7 weeks, and then it calms down. So
I think the other thing that we've got in our favour is the fact that their offensive coordinator, Josh Grizzard, is effectively his first game calling plays. So so
they're gonna. I think both teams are gonna run the ball from the start of the games, and then as the game goes on, as the game gets a bit closer and the clock gets a bit shorter, there's gonna be some big plays. I think it's gonna be a great first game for us. So win or lose, but it's gonna be a lot to learn from.
Well, Cam, I'm putting my running backs up against any team. If we run the ball, which we should, because
honestly put Tyler in this game more than Bijan, just to save Bijan for the latter half of the season.
Again, unleash Nathan Carter. Again, it's unknown. They don't know what they're going to get.
Yeah, this is the thing. You talk about the 1-2 punch at running back. We've got a 1-2 and the elbow. So we can catch you out a lot of ways, and that's why I'm so excited. So what we'll do then, I know there's not going to be a lot of question and answer tonight, but I love using my graphics. I've worked hard on them, so we're gonna bring up the Q&A section, and if anyone does want anything raised, even if it's later on, drop it in the comments. But Des, you've got something to say?
Yeah, the problem we've got is all the people that normally ask you questions are actually on the panel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think Southside Ricky's probably the only one that we don't have. So, I mean, effectively, once he comes on, there'll be nobody there asking questions. So,
and it wasn't for one to try, and we did try to get Ricky. He says he's more a behind the scenes sort of guy, but nevertheless, we'll have your takes, Ricky. So if you're still watching, brother, we appreciate you.
I'm going to ask a question, and I look back to the last season and how excited I was for last season and how disappointing it was, and effectively it was down to the fact that Kirk Cousins fell off. What I would ask is, what unknown could possibly happen that would possibly derail the Atlanta Falcons season?
Yeah, I think everyone just took a deep breath there. I seen Will taking a deep breath. I was breathing in.
I know what I'm going to say, and I'm not going to speak it into existence, but
it's an interesting question, and it's one that you could answer.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
Answers, yeah. I mean, obviously, offensive position, but I'd put that at number one. But then, obviously, quarterback, because then that's like everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I trust Kirk again for another season if Penix goes down. You know, maybe his leg is healed up a bit more. But I just that'd be such a mood killer. It would just,
For me, I think the absolute worst thing that would happen would be if Chris Lindstrom goes down, because then the whole right side of your offensive line is shot, and it lets them basically just get right around the edge if you don't have the right guys in place to back up. So that would be my worst case scenario, would be losing Lindstrom at this point. How about you, Lamarcus? What would be your worst case scenario? And then we'll circle back and find out what the man himself said.
Yeah, I was just looking back to, and I hate to bring this up, gentlemen. I was just looking back to, preseason, we never play our starters. And I listened to Coach Raheem Morris. I like his logic, and I like that he wants to keep our players safe. I love that. However, when you do that, you run the risk of not seeing how well your starters actually play together with some of the rookies involved. And last year, Kirk Cousins, he didn't, to my recollection, unless I could be wrong, I don't believe that he played in any of the preseason games because he came as a veteran to the team.
No.
And look what happened the first couple of games.
Did you watch quarterback? Quarterback Kirk Cousins didn't understand the system. There was too many too much movement and all that stuff. He didn't understand the system about halfway through camp, or damn near close to being over.
I think last season, Michael Penix Jr. only got a couple of snaps last preseason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he was on for 1 or 2 quarters, and that was it.
Yeah. It was definitely nothing major. But yeah. So what would be the bottom falling out of your season then, Des?
Well, I from my point of view, I think it's the hype around the edge rush. You know what I mean? If we come into this season and it's as bad as what it's been in the last 3 or 4 years, it's going to literally take the breath away for this team. You know what I mean?
It will drain the energy out faster than deflating a bagpipe.
Which is a tough position to be in because they are rookies at the end of the day. But we are putting a lot on these guys' shoulders.
But
James Pierce and Jalen Walker, that's a lot to be on their shoulders to turn around a edge rushing group in the NFL in their first year.
Oh, 100%.
But But Cam, as I said, TJ Watt was never a rookie. You know what I mean? In his first season, it was straight
natural.
And
James Pierce shows that. James Pierce shows that kind of energy, just that ferocity. Just being able to go out there and be violent. That's
Yeah.
what you want.
When you've got a team that's double teaming you, and your first preseason game, that effectively is telling you that they
Sometimes
didn't
those guys need that pressure. They need that pressure to be able to execute.
Well, yeah, diamonds form under pressure, as the old saying goes. So, yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about adversity breeding greatness. I completely agree. But yeah, that was a great question, Des. But as I say, everybody's preoccupied with college football right now, so the questions are probably going to come in the form of the comments section later on. So we will be fully aware. But what I will do is we'll pat ourselves on the back here for the hard work that we do, because we've had too much in place for one show. Because next week we're going to really get into the nitty gritty, the nuts and bolts, so to speak, of the Tampa Buccaneers game. I've prepped a visual for it because it's special. It's rivalry week. It's a new year. As I say, we've got all the hype. So I've put this together. Basically, we're going to be coming at you with the game breakdown for Bucks v Birds for week 1 when they visit the Bens. And as I say, you want to really keep it here because, as I say, we give up a lot of our time to make this happen, and we're running the night shift to even watch the games. As I say, Lamarcus, on his case, has given up his hard-earned cash to be there, to essentially now be our game correspondent for the season. And again, we can't thank you enough. And as I say, we Cam as well. So just having the international team and being able to do this, it gives us so much joy to do this for the 4 hours a week that we do. If you do want to see more, then as I say, just keep dropping the red and blacks down in the chat, drop the topics that you want to see, special guests that you want to see as interview, and we'll get to that as well. Because we've got a lot of good things coming for the season as well. But Des, I noticed that you wanted to say something before we kind of get things wrapped up and stuff.
Yeah. I've just seen the Alabama score.
Oh dear.
I gotta look it up.
Yeah, so
They're losing.
Florida State 17, Alabama 7. So
wow,
that's a half-time score. That's a game. I mean, I told you that Georgia was going to be a walkover. They're winning 24-0 at half-time.
Yeah. But I didn't think Marshall had anything for them, but that surprises me. 17-7.
You just got to love college football. You've just got to love it, man. So.
Oh, I know, and because you're all watching it, I think we're going to start winding down. So what we'll do then, guys, as always, if you want to join the Kilted Revolution for more info, showtimes, etc., you can speak to Maggie, myself, Des, now Cam, Manuel, and Lamarcus as well, the frequent Fliers. If you want to come on board, as I say, we do 2 shows a week on a Thursday and a Saturday. We are open to another one, so if the support is there, then that's something we can look at. Yeah, as I say, we also have the watch parties too, hosted by Cam, down in the family kettle. So if you want the link for that, do let us know as well. But we'll go around the group and get closing thoughts. So Lamarcus, where can the people get at you, my brother?
Well, I travel quite a bit to the games, fellows. I don't actually have a website or anything like that. So I will just try to make sure that you know where I am when the Falcons are playing, and I'll try to keep you guys posted. I actually just added 2 more games, so instead of 7 games, I'm actually going to be going to 9 games this year. I'll be happy to just share information with you guys, and I will be in the Bends September the 7th when we take on our division rivals, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, cannot wait for it. Cannot wait for it. We'll get the trash talking in early. We love it. And as we say, we're thrilled to have you on board as the game correspondent this year. You've had some great takes tonight on your debut. As I say, the technical issues will happen. There's no way of avoiding that, but it's like avoiding misery as a Falcons fan. You just can't do it. But thank you all the same. We're glad to have you. And as I say, keep showing love down in the chat for the guys that come on board and join the AFNI, because we see something special in these guys. We we see the things you say in the chat, and we cherry pick. We can select the best of the bunch, and as I say, cultivate something special here on the Scottish Falcons show. So Cam, where can people get at you?
I mean, you can find me on Facebook, 10_Cam_01. Well, no, I think it's just 10Cam01 on Facebook.
I think it's just 10Cam01.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really post anything either. You know, I don't got like a big page or anything where I'm like a big poster. It's not my thing. But if you want to talk or whatever, or watch games together, hit me up. I can help you with that.
Yep, that sounds great. And as I say, you were talking about a Discord as well. So when you get that, we'll be dropping that on the channel page. So keep and I'll look out for that.
It's
so
not flushed, but it is finished. It is just not flushed though. It's just like a bare bones server right now. I'm not good at, like being the moderator and getting all the rooms set up. I just got a couple of rooms, and then I'm like, all right, that's good.
From small icons, brother. That's all we need to worry about. Like the show, we start small, but we aim high. And as I like to say, and I'm quite poetic with things when it comes like to or flowery, depending on how you choose to look at it. But I've always chose to kind of shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll still land among the stars.
Oh yeah.
So that's all I would recommend that you guys do as well. So as I say, we're thrilled to have you on board for the season. So Des, you want to tell us your closing thoughts and where people can get at you, my brother?
Yeah. As I said at the start of the show, I'm looking forward to my last week of sanity, because my life now, in 8 days, my life belongs to 53 players on a roster and numerous coaching staff. So yeah, it's I always try and visualize us winning the Super Bowl, and I just every season I just think, is this the season? Is this the season? And there's a lot to be excited about this season. It seems different this year. Maybe it seemed a wee bit different last year with Kirk Cousins, but that was only one player you were excited about. This year you've got so many players to be excited about. So, and effectively a defense to be excited about for the first time in 12 odd years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
100%.
So,
yeah, it's a great kind of position to be in, and I'm so hyped for the season. So as I say, I'm glad that we're kind of getting into the swing of things. For year 60, it's the best year to just get everything done, and let's hope we can cap it off with a Lombardi trophy and a nice diamond ring as well. So as I say, as always, if you need to get after me or if you want to talk shop about our birds, on all the socials at Will the Thrill Waddle. As I say, you can also hit up my the solo YouTube channel, where I'll be doing my own takes on things. Will the Thrill Spills, that's still very much in the pipeline. So get at me there, and stay tuned for that. Stay tuned next week as we go into the game in more depth, before we crack heads with those sucking ears. But until then, always remember that pain is international, but so is passion. We love you all, and thank you for joining us wherever you are and whenever you get to join us. Bye, family.